to continue through. Check for traffic to the left, to the right, or in the left lane, in the right lane. You know, a big part of defensive driving and safe driving is just being aware of your surroundings. Once you get a little bit more experience behind the wheel, you're going to be able to anticipate potential hazards, and by that I mean cars that may change lanes in front of you or cut across 2 or 3 lanes of traffic. Some of them put their blinker on, others don't. You'll notice how traffic, or rather speed, is picking up a little bit again. So you'll hit these pockets intermittently. Cars are merging from the access road onto the highway, so you want to be aware of those folks. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll merge in and they'll cut across 2 or 3 lanes of traffic. So again, something you want to be aware of. Like this little vehicle here, let's see, they've got their blinker on. I'm going to slow down. There you go. So you want to make sure that you allow them the opportunity to change lanes, so that you're not put in a situation where you're driving in somebody's blind spot, which is another big thing. You want to make sure that you're aware of again, of the space around you. You don't want to drive in somebody's or another vehicle's blind spot. Now, if you're driving on a multi-lane road like this, again, I'm in the center lane, but if you're driving in the right lane and you decide you want to change lanes into the center lane, always be aware of the cars that are traveling in the left lane. Anybody that is in the left lane that is wanting to change lanes into the middle lane, let's assume that you're in the right lane and you want to change lanes into the center lane. The vehicles that are in the left lane, far left lane, that want to change into the center lane have right-of-way, so you want to make sure that you give them right-of-way if you're in the right lane. So you want to, again, make sure that you're aware of that. Notice how we're, you know, speed is, the flow of traffic speeds up and then it slows down, and speeds up and it slows down. I don't think, again, the speed limit on this road, this freeway, is 65 miles an hour. I don't think I've gone over 25 miles an hour at any given point since I started this commute. But this is pretty good flow, believe it or not. Pretty good flow for the time of day and the amount of traffic on the road. As we're driving through, you notice that again, you've got exit ramps, entrance ramps. You want to make sure that you're constantly scanning the road, checking the signs, speed limit, exits. Make sure that you are aware of the exit. If you need to take an exit, you want to make sure that you know which exit you have to take, be it by name, street name, or by number. Sometimes these exits are numbered. All right, if you notice the traffic in front of us is slowing down again, there's a vehicle that's parked in between the exit ramp and the right lane. I'm not sure if it's see it right there. So that's actually not a really safe place to park. It doesn't look like there was a driver in it, so they might have had some sort of a breakdown. If you're driving on a highway, freeway, interstate, toll road, what have you, if your vehicle happens to break down, it's always best to get it off the road if you can. If you can't, you want to make sure that you aren't put in a situation where you might end up getting hit, or your vehicle ends up getting hit, or you become a road hazard. Once again, traffic is going to start to slow down a little bit, and part of that is because you have another entrance ramp. You have cars merging from the access road onto the main throughway, through the highway, or to the highway. And this up here gets a little bit tricky, because what's going to happen is we're starting to enter the downtown part, downtown area, and you're going to have cars merging on the highway, getting off the highway, folks that are exiting to go downtown. So traffic does get a little bit heavier. If you happen to be taking an exit, you want to make sure that you plan that exit ahead of time, or get in the correct lane ahead of time. Again, I'm going to continue through, so I'm going to stay in the center lane. Got to watch out with these cars. They do, like that one right there. So they'll pull into the open space. See that vehicle there just cut across, what, 2 lanes of traffic? So you want to be aware of that. The sign ahead reads express lane, entrance 1 mile, left lane. So if you're going to take the express lane, you want to prepare again ahead of time. Stay in the center lane. You'll notice traffic thins out and then it gets heavy again. Now up ahead, I don't know if you can see it, but there is an know if it's an emergency vehicle or a construction vehicle. So again, you want to make sure that you're scanning the road ahead far enough to where you're able to plan or prepare for any potential problems or road hazards. So that vehicle changed lanes, which means that I'm going to let off the accelerator just a little bit to increase my following distance. All right, they're putting their brake on. So I check my rear view, and there you go. It's actually a construction vehicle, or I'm sorry, roadside assistance. So there's the entrance to the express lane. We're going to go ahead and stay in the main throughway. So I'm going to go ahead and change lanes. I'm going to put my left blinker on. I'm going to look over my left shoulder, check my mirrors, and gradually change lanes. You want to make sure that you signal your intentions ahead of time. Take my blinker off. I'm going to accelerate. Speed limit here, 65 miles an hour. You'll see the speed limit sign overhead. You want to make sure that you maintain control, stay within your lane. All right, now I'm going to switch back over to the center lane. I'm going to put my right blinker on, look over my my right shoulder rather, and gradually change lanes. I'm also going to have to be aware of the vehicles that are in the far right lane. Once again, they may decide they want to change lanes into the center lane, so you want to be aware of that. Traffic's thinned out a little bit, which is a good thing. So this something you should already know, but the broken white lines on the surface of the ground indicate one-way traffic. The white indicates one-way traffic, lanes going in the same direction. So it divides lanes going in the same direction, and the dotted or broken lines signify that you can't cross. In other words, you can change lanes. If they were solid, then the lane change would be prohibited. Now again, got cars merging onto the highway, vehicles in the left lane, vehicles in the right lane. Check the space in front of you, behind you. Scan your mirrors, scan the road left, scan the road right, check your mirrors. All right, up ahead you've got another merge lane, or rather entrance ramp. You see the sign right there, cars merging from the right. So you want to be aware of those vehicles. There you go. So I just covered my brake, slowed down a little bit. Now normally you don't always have to use your brake. There's no one behind me, there's plenty of space behind me, but letting off the accelerator to slow down to increase my gap would not have worked. So here I let off the accelerator, and the reason I did that is to increase my following distance. So let's check following distance. We're going to go ahead and use the let's see. Well, we'll use the exit. And 1001, 1002. 1003, 1004, and I meant the exit sign. So again, scan the road to the right, scan the road to the left. Right now I'm looking at a bus. It's probably about 8 or 9 cars in front of me in the center lane. You want to make sure that you're looking at a distance. Now I'm going to be taking an exit that's about 2.5 miles ahead. So you'll want to make sure that if you know that your exit is coming up, you want to make sure that you get in the correct lane ahead of time. So I've got about 2.5 miles or so, 3 miles, give or take, before I have to take my exit. I'm going to stay in the center lane. And again, part of the reason I'm staying in the center lane now is because there are going to be multiple on-ramps onto the highway. So instead of getting in the right lane and having to adjust to allow those folks to merge, I'm going to go ahead and stay in the center lane. Now, again, you're going to notice the traffic's going to slow down a little bit, mainly because you have these entrance ramps. So you'll have a tendency to see that. And by that I mean traffic will slow down a little bit. Well, not too bad, not too bad. The flow's pretty nice.